How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battle. Today we're going against Gyarados in the Smogon OU tier from the Discord server. Go ahead and join the Discord server. It's the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Fi battles right now. There is a link in the description down below. Today's battle was insane. Really well played on both parts. The timer, unfortunately, does ruin it for us. But the actual battle you do get to see is really enjoyable and I cannot wait for you to see it. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this one. And with that being said, let's jump into the team preview. Okay, Gyarados has some absolute power on his team. He's got a great Tusk, Tinkaton, God of War, Brute Bonnet, Gyarados, and a Dragapult. Dragapult, of course, we need to scout for to see what kind of set it is. A very difficult Pokemon to work around Dragapult is. It's very good. Not ban-worthy, I don't think, but I think it's very good. They're probably looking at my team and thinking that I have no Spore switchings other than the Espeon, because obviously Magic Bounce. So they might lead with a Brute Bonnet right now, but I'm more inclined to believe they'll lead off with the Great Tusk or the Tinkaton. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to lead with Corviknight and get the nice and powerful slow U-turn off. I think that's probably the best bet. And the battle begins. So Gyarados is going to lead off with Gostareda, which is the Dragapult. I butchered the pronunciation of that name, by the way. We led off with the Corviknight. So this is actually a pretty good matchup. We're going to take some damage either way. So let's go for that U-turn and see what kind of set this is. If it goes for a Shadow Ball, then we know what kind of set it is. If it goes for a U-turn, then we don't. They do go for a U-turn, which is good to know. They have U-turn, which tells me they're either Choice Banded or Choice Specs. I would probably say Choice Specs based on the damage that U-turn did, although U-turn wasn't going to do too much damage regardless. So I would say it's Choice Specs based on the composition of the team as well. In comes Chase, which is going to be the Tinkaton. Obviously, you got to bring in Tinkaton to battle the Corviknight. It's the only way around it. Tinkaton is the ultimate counter to Corviknight, if you didn't know. Pretty much just because it just... I mean, look at that hammer. It's made of Corviknights. It's literally made of a Corviknight. So with the Tinkaton in, we've got a good free switch into whatever we want to go into. I'm thinking Great Tusk for that Headlong Rush. I'm also thinking about going to Gyarados for the Earthquake. I think Great Tusk seems like a better option, so let's go ahead and do that. This will bait in the Garchomp? God of War? Nope. Gyarados. I can't seem to get the names right today. What we could do is we can go straight for a Headlong Rush if we really want to. I believe they go for either a Fake Out though, or the Focus Sash, and they go for a Gigaton Hammer. One of the two. But I think it's more likely they switch into Gyarados because Gyarados does perfectly counter us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Pawmot over here and I'm going to go straight for that double shock. So we do withdraw first, which tells me they might not have switched out depending on what set the Tinkaton is. No, they were max speed, so we outspeed regardless. And we're going to go into Mottins just to see what they're going to do. They do withdraw. Are they going to go Gyarados as expected? I would go Gyarados personally. I think it's the best bet. They've got Sangria, which is going to be the Gyarados. So Gyarados comes on in, nice and shiny. Look at that. Beautiful. Gets the Intimidate off, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? As now, I'm going to go for that nice and powerful double shock. They probably switch out here into the Great Tusk. So I'm inclined to go for a close combat as well. Let me see if I've got any safe switches here. I think Corviknight's a safe one. We could anticipate the switch. If we put enough pressure on by making the right switch every time, they might not do it. So... I feel like you might actually think we're going to over-predict. So I'm going to go for the double shock here. As they do withdraw, are they going to go Great Tusk? That's the real question. If they go Great Tusk, it's fine. Armor Ground, that's got to be the Great Tusk, right? It is the Great Tusk. So Great Tusk comes in. We go for the double shock. It doesn't affect it, of course. But we do, in fact, lose. No, we don't lose it because it doesn't work, so that's fine. We go Corviknight now. Corviknight is 100% of the play against the Great Tusk. We could have defog, so they probably won't... Well, they probably will set up Stealth Rocks, but they'll probably expect to Stealth Rocks and stay in and switch out the next turn. So we'll go into Corviknight real quick. There we go. As they probably go for the Stealth Rocks real quick. They do go for a knockoff, expecting the Espeon to come in more than likely. Because Espeon is obviously a good switch into the Stealth Rocks right now. So what I'm going to do is... seeing its leftovers tells me it's a bulky variant. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking at their team and I'm thinking not a lot switches into Espeon. I think now they go for a Stealth Rock, so I'm going to go ahead and switch into Espeon. I think now they're going for a Stealth Rocks and we go for an Espeon switch. So we'll switch out. We do switch out first. They tell me they've stayed in to probably go in for the Stealth Rocks. We go into Dazzler real quick, the Espeon. As they go for an Ice Spinner, which is interesting. So they're more of an offensive set, I guess. Does a lot of damage to us, but we can still take it, no problem. As now I'm thinking Choice Specs Dazzling Gleam should KO from here. If it doesn't, then we've at least weakened it loads. So I'm going to go for the Dazzling Gleam. They do withdraw. Are they going to go Brute Bonnet or are they going to go Tinkaton? Tinkaton going to be a good one. They go Chase. That's a Tinkaton, right? Yeah, Chase is a Tinkaton. So Chase is going to come in, take some damage by the Dazzling Gleam. Only a little bit of chip damage now, but that's absolutely fine. And we can take that. And we do really feel they have leftovers, which is good to know. Good to know later on down the line. So, what we can do now is we can just go straight back into Great Tusk. Great Tusk is the penultimate switching, really. So there we go. Go into Great Tusk real quick, just to take on this Tinkaton, no problems. Great Tusk comes on in. There we go. They go for a knockoff, knocking off our item, which is unfortunate. We do lose our item, which is really unfortunate. We've got a critical hit as well. They're knocking off our leftovers, but it's absolutely fine. What we can do now is, if we expect the Gyarados to come in, we could also make another switch. So they saw that we made the switch earlier, so I feel like they're going to stay in and go for a play rough just to hit the Mottins. So I'm going to go ahead and make the basic play and go for the Headlong Rush. I feel like we're going to get them staying in right now. They do withdraw. Are they going to go Gyarados? They wouldn't go Gyarados again, would they? Armor Ground. That's the Great Tusk, so that's fine by me. Great Tusk comes on in. We go for a Headlong Rush. Get some solid damage off. They're clearly physically defensive, which is good to know. Definitely physically defensive, which is good to know. As they are going to have the leftovers pop, which is going to recover some of their health. So, good to know they're defensive. They probably go for... Let's go for an Ice Spinner here. We go for an Ice Spinner. It should do some solid damage. Yeah, it does some solid damage to them. As they go for their own Ice Spinner, it won't do too much to us. It'll probably do about the same amount. It does a lot more because we aren't defensively invested. But I don't really have a good switch into Great Tusk, other than my Great Tusk. So we've got a couple of options here. We can either let this thing go down, or we can go into our own Gyarados and start setting up from there. I think that's probably a good idea. Let's go into our Gyarados. Get the Intimidate off, which is always nice. Intimidate comes through, and there we go. As they go for an Ice Spinner, which is going to come through and do some nice bit of chip damage to us. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and set up a Dragonlance. And the reason I'm going to Dragonlance is quite clearly because their team's pretty susceptible to me, which is good to know. So I'm going to go for that Dragonlance. Dragonlance comes through. They do stay in, which is interesting. They're probably going to go for a knockoff to get rid of our item. If we are Lumberry or something like that, which would make a lot of sense. So they go for the knockoff, which is to be expected, which is absolutely fine by me. As we can just go ahead and Terastallize now and go for a Tera Blast and take this thing out. I think that's probably the best option, right? I think that's probably the best option. So let's Terastallize into a Flying type and go for that Tera Blast real quick. They are going to withdraw this turn. What are they going to go into? Are they going to go into the Tinkaton, or are they going to go into the Gyarados? Sangria, that's the Gyarados, right? Yeah, Gyarados comes in. It's going to get the Intimidate off, which is always nice and dandy. Does lower our attack significantly. But we're back to neutral attack now, so we're still full attack. Just not as boosted as we were when we had a Dragonlance up. So this Flying Tera Blast is going to do a lot of damage to the opposing Gyarados, and we outspeed them as well, which is going to be great. So Gyarados is going to put some holes in their team, which is amazing for us. Gyarados is definitely going to put some holes in their team, so let's go for the Tera Blast. It should 2-hit KO. It does 2-hit KO, which is amazing. As the next turn, we can just go for another one. And they don't really have a good switch in here. So we'll go for another Tera Blast real quick. We go for another Tera Blast, we're going to be able to take out their Gyarados. They didn't really have a good switch there, so they have to kind of let it go down. As down it goes. So Sangria goes down, which is great for us. The Gyarados is one less Pokemon that can potentially sweep us, so that's absolutely amazing. In comes Raffi, which is going to be the Brute Bonnet. So Brute Bonnet's coming in to try and Sucker Punch us now. What we can do is we can Dragonlance, expecting that, or we can save it for later. So I'm thinking about saving it for later. So we could go into Espeon just to bounce back a Spore potential. If they are Focus Sash, for example, that's going to hurt us quite badly. So we'll go into Espeon real quick to block a Spore, and also to see if they go for Sucker Punch here. As they do in fact Terastallize, which is interesting. What are they going to Terastallize into though? That's the real question. I think it's good that we scouted this though, because Gyarados could still work out for us later on down the line. They are a Terra Dark. Terra Dark with Sucker Punch more than likely. So Sucker Punch is going to come through. No doubt in my mind, Sucker Punch is going to come through right now. They go for the Sucker Punch, it obviously fails. This turn we go for a Trick to cripple it. They go for a Sucker Punch again, it's obviously going to fail, which is absolutely amazing for us. We go for the Trick, there we go. Trick a Choice Specs onto them. Because Espeon doesn't really need the Choice Specs this game. It should be able to KO the Great Tusk without it. And obviously everything else on the team doesn't get KO'd regardless. So We know they're locked into the Sucker Punch now, which is good to know. No, wait, are they locked into Sucker Punch? I don't think they are they? So we can make a switch here. Probably going to go into Corviknight. I think Corviknight's the best bet. So we'll go into Corviknight real quick. There we go. Switching out our Espeon. We don't want it to go down just yet. There's no need for it, as we can just go into the Corviknight. And if they lock, see what they're going to lock themselves into, really. If they lock themselves into Spore, then they have to switch out. As they do withdraw Raffi, which is fine by me. We're going to go into Gostareda, which is going to be the Gardevoir probably. No, it's Dragable. I should have known that from earlier. Now we just go straight for a U-turn, get that nice and powerful slow U-turn. They go for a Thunderbolt, which should do a lot of damage to us. Doesn't quite grab the KO, as we're able to go for that slow U-turn and get some chip damage off, which is absolutely amazing. So Corviknight nearly goes down. We can save it for fodder later on down the line. As now we can bring in whatever we want to, really. I'm going to bring in the Dragalge, just because looking at their team, their best switch in is going to be the Tinkaton right now. So we can use that as an opportunity to get our Great Tuskany again. If we get Great Tuskany again, we're going to be golden. So let's see what they're going to do. Let's go ahead and, if we assume they're going Tinkaton, we could go Corviknight, let it go down. That way we're safe. If the Dragapult turns out to be not Specs and it goes for a Draco Meteor right now, we're safe from that. So I think I go back Corviknight and sack it off. So they do withdraw. They are locked in, so the choice Specs, that's good to know. Otherwise they would have U-turned there. And they're going to go into Chase, the Tinkaton, which is as expected. So we go into our Corviknight, and the main reason I'm going into the Corviknight is just purely so that we can sack it off here to the Tinkaton. And that way we get a free switch in back with the Gyarados, and we can go ahead and get a Dragonlance back up, which would be nice. So let's go ahead and do that. Silvera is coming through for us right now. It's going to be nice and powerful death fodder, which is always good to know. I am going to go for the Roost just on the off chance they don't attack us, because that's always a possibility, but I think they do just attack us here. They go for the knockoff to get the KO, which absolutely makes sense. Down goes Corviknight. So we lose Corviknight, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. We do have options. So we have Mottins. We can Revival Blessing the Corviknight later if we want to. We've got Gyarados right now, and we've got Great Tusk. And looking at their team, they do not have a good Great Tusk switch in. So I'm going to go into Great Tusk real quick. Their own Great Tusk can switch in, but just barely. Just barely. So we go straight for the Headlong Rush right now, and it's going to do a lot of damage to everything on their team. They are going to withdraw. Are they going to go into their own Great Tusk? That's the real question. I think they do, don't they? Armor Grand, that's the Great Tusk, of course. Let's see how much damage we're doing here. So the Headlong Rush should do a lot of damage. Doesn't quite get the KO, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? I am going to save the Great Tusk for later on down the line. And I'm going to switch out right now. We don't have the Corviknight switching, unfortunately, but we know they're going to go for either an Ice Spinner or a knockoff here. Probably the Ice Spinner. So if we go into Gyarados, we should be golden. So let's go ahead and go into Gyarados real quick. There we go. Gyarados comes through. Gyarados should outspeed this Great Tusk because it's defensive. And we should be able to get the KO with a Tera Blast. So we'll get the Intimidate off, which is always nice. They go straight for the Ice Spinner, which is great. And now we get to go straight for a... Oh, they got a crit, unfortunately. Wait, was that a crit? Was that not a crit? How was that not a crit? Did I miss the crit mark or what? I don't know. Either way, I'm going to go for a Tera Blast right now because it's going to hurt everything on their team. Tera Blast comes through. Should grab the KO on the Great Tusk, which would be absolutely amazing. As down it goes. So Tera Blast comes through and gets the KO on the Great Tusk, which is absolutely fantastic. So there we go. In comes Ori. New one that we haven't seen yet. Gardevoir comes in. So traces our Intimidate, gets the Intimidate off, which is absolutely fantastic play on my opponent's part, because now we can't really threaten this thing too much. However, do we need Gyarados anymore? I don't think we do. Let's go for the Tera Blast just on the off chance we outspeed. We don't outspeed, of course. Moonblast comes through, takes out Gyarados, and what can we do about that? Not a lot. So with our Terrestrialization out of the window, and they've still got their Terrestrializations, Brute Bonnet. I think our best bet right now is to go into our either Dragalge or Great Tusk. We don't know if this thing's scarfed or not, so I'm going to go into Dragalge real quick. There we go. Dragalge comes through, like so. And then we go into Great Tusk, expecting them to go into Tinkaton. I think that's the best play we can make. They do withdraw Ori. They are outspeeding us, of course. Are they going to go Tinkaton? I think they do. They go Raffi, which is going to be the Brute Bonnet. As we went into our Great Tusk. So this has actually worked out really well for us, because we could just go straight for a close combat right now. So Great Tusk comes on in. We could go straight for the close combat. We could go for a Headlong Rush if we wanted to. We know they're locked in with choice specs, whatever they go for. I think they switch into they probably expect close combat and they switch into Dragapult, right? So we could go for Ice Spinner or Headlong Rush. I think I'm going to go Headlong Rush, expecting the Dragapult to come in. It might be obvious, but I don't think they stay in here because they lose the Brute Bonnet if they stay in. It's a tough one to make. I'm going to go Headlong Rush and see what they're going to do. So they do stay in, which is good to know. Headlong Rush does about half, which is really poor damage as they go for a Spore and put us to sleep. So could have gone for the close combat there, which is unfortunate, but what can you do about that? It's good to know that they're locked into Spore though, because now we can just go ahead and switch into whatever we want. I'm going to go ahead and go into my Espeon. No, I'm not going to Espeon. I'm just going to stay in and attack. Let's go for an attack. So they do withdraw Raffi this turn. Are they going to go Dragapult? Gostarada, that's Dragapult. Yep, that's Dragapult coming in. I think they win with Dragapult, to be honest with you. I think it's just took a real turn. So we can probably go into... Oh, we haven't got a switch in, really. If they go for Draco Meteor, we're screwed. If they go for Draco Meteor, we are screwed. I'm pretty confident that we can take one Draco Meteor, so I'm going to go into Dragalge real quick. I'm going to go into Dragalge. We burned off one turn of sleep, so that's always good. We'll go into Kelpy real quick. There we go. Kelpy comes through. They go for a Shadow Ball, which is even better because it means that we're going to take it even better now. That does absolutely nothing to us. So what we can do now is they have to switch out. They can't stay in, otherwise they lose the Dragapult. So we go straight back into Great Tusk right now to try and burn off another turn of sleep. So they do withdraw, of course. Are they going to go Tinkaton? It's probably the best switch. They go into Chase, which is the Tinkaton, which is absolutely fine by me. We go into Chase. We're going to go back into our Great Tusk, and hopefully we can wake up. Hopefully we can wake up this turn. We need to wake up this turn, otherwise we lose. Great Tusk really needs to wake up for us right now. So I'm going to go straight for that Headlong Rush. Hopefully I wake up. If we don't wake up, we lose our Great Tusk anyway. Unfortunately, we don't wake up as they can go for a Gigaton Hammer, which is going to destroy us. Oh, we lived! We lived! No way! We wake up this turn. No, we didn't wake up this turn. We didn't wake up this turn. We got a whole extra turn of sleep. Oh, no. That was so hype, and then it just dropped. Okay, Pawmot, you're up. So Pawmot's a good one, because we can go for a double shock real quick, and that's going to get rid of our electric typing. So I'm going to go ahead and Revival Blessing right now. Revival Blessing, and I'm going to go ahead and get that Great Tusk back up and running. Revival Blessing comes through, like so. Boom. We are going to revive. We're going to get some Leper Berry action, which is great. Restoring the PP of our Revival Blessing, and I'm going to revive our Great Tusk right now. So Great Tusk is revived and ready to fight. They go for a Gigaton Hammer. We should be able to live this, which is absolutely amazing. And we're able to go for a Revival Blessing right now, which is going to be able to get our Corviknight back up and running. They're going to withdraw Tinkaton this turn. What are they going to go into? They get Dragapult. I think they go Raffi. Raffi comes in, which is, of course, going to be the Brute Bonnet. So we go for a Revival Blessing real quick, and we're going to get that Corviknight back up and running. Oh, is it Corviknight or Gyarados will be better? I think Corviknight's the best one. So we're going to get Corviknight back up, which is absolutely amazing. Oh, wait, it's just glitched out. It's not letting us do it. So let's go for a close combat real quick. Time has run out. The battle is over. It didn't let me do it. Why did it change? Oh, it did do it, and then it glitched back into them. Okay, that's really weird how that worked. Anyway, GG Birudu. That was pretty fun. It's a shame the timer's it's a shame about the timer, really, isn't it? That was looking to be a really long drawn out battle as well, which would have been really nice if the timer was there. I like long drawn out battles because you know it's a good one, but you know, it's whatever. So anyway, GG Virudu, thank you for the battle. Thank you for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.